All right, I was just able to figure out why the audio wasn't quite so good yesterday because it was coming through the wrong input, apparently. So let's split up the chat room. I only have 30 minutes, so I'm not as prepared as I normally am. All right, pop out the chat. There's got to be some auto way to do this whole situation. Okay, pop out the chat. Sounds like pump up the jams. Pump it up, pump it up. All right. Howdy again, Francis Mori 7. You were the first last time, and you're the first time this time too. All right. Let's get everything ready. Terminal. We are working on a site called 3 Minute Geek Show. Howdy, Vince. Mr. Bronner. All right, so let's... All right, so... Phone notifications. Oh, cool. Hi, D. Jekyll and Josh Work. I really enjoy trying to pronounce all y'all's names who are like gamers and have like silly gamer things. I don't know why this is being so slow. It's really janky. Hold on, let me see if y'all gonna tell me if this breaks something. Let's try 1080p 60 and see if that does anything different. All right. All right, 8098. Everything's ugly. Looks good from here. Great. Okay, so just turn off my display. Okay, now it's back. Cool. Hey, Mr. Sugar. Howdy. Good. Okay, cool. So what do we have here? Watching through Steam and Live again, DD prereq correct. So the basics of what we're doing here is we are pulling in my 3 Minute Geek Show RSS feed from briefs.fm. We've got just a normal RSS feed for a podcast. And they're just getting started. So I wanted to basically build some functionality on top of it and not wait for them. So what we're going to do is parse over this RSS feed and then basically on the landing page display like a list of all the episodes, reverse sorted, and each of them, howdy again, Lee, links to an individual landing page based on an episode ID for that particular page. And that's going to show, right now, discuss. If you actually subscribe to the podcast, you'll hear that this morning on the way in, I was ruminating on what can we use that's not discuss. And so after I ruminated, I was like, oh man, I'm going to, you can see how few downloads I've gotten in that one so far. After I ruminated, I thought for a while, oh, video and sound are out of sync. Okay, does anybody know how to fix that? Because that is such a pain for that to happen. Okay, OBS, mic, auxiliary, using the... anything fancy there. There's no filters on it. I don't know how to go to like a simpler thing other than the built-in microphone. You know what I mean? Is everybody else seeing the same thing where the audio and the video is out of sync? I tried watching a couple minutes of the YouTube last night to see it. It looked pretty nasty. Oh, it's fixed. Okay, cool. Fine. All right. So I was like, man, I'd really like to put this up in Twitter, right? Like, hey, and I'd also love for it to auto post to like a Twitter account. And so I was like, hey, it'd be really great if I could link to this and say, hey, listen to this 3 minute audio thing I did in the car and see if you have any answers. Okay, twitchy. But the problem is I couldn't because they don't have that built yet because this is a brand new project. So it motivated me even more. Oh my gosh, everything broke. All right, just switch to another and hopefully it's going to get better for y'all in a second. Okay, so what I'd like to be able to do is link to someone and say, yeah, this morning I recorded this thing, where if not discussed. That's episode number 7. Go to 3minutegeekshow.com/7. I would like that. I know you guys are lagged, so let me know if you still can't hear it. Not better yet. All right. I'm going to spend my entire time fighting with OBS. All right, device, built-in microphone. I'm going to unplug it, plug it back in. that makes it any better. If not, I'll just switch to the mic on my webcam. It's not as good, but okay, everybody's saying broken. I'm going to switch to the mic on the webcam, see if that helps. That is a Logitech webcam. C930E is my new audio source. Okay, cool. So let me know if that fixes it for y'all in 15 seconds when your chat catches up with my audio. All right, so that's the goal. It would be really nice to get it to a point where it was not hideous and functioned just enough that I could actually link to it. Still not coming from the headphones. Some other mic sound seems to. Yeah, it's. I mean, it should be this mic that it's using right now. So that seems to be it. It's not coming from here, so I guess I could take those off. So as long as you guys can hear me, as long as it's not sounding like it's like coming from my laptop, which I don't think it is, then I think that's the best we're going to get for today. I only have until 1 o'clock, so yeah, I mean, y'all can see right here. So my mic options, don't exit, mic options, properties, and it's on the webcam right now. Yeah, snapping webcam. So that's it. It's not perfect, it's echoey, but it's better than spending the whole time fighting audio. Okay, cool. So and I really want Twitch to fix this 15-second lag because it's very confusing going back and forth on that. Okay, so we've got the basics of it here, right? So part of what I need to do, which I'm not going to make any of you sit and watch me do, is just make this now ugly and use view partials, because right now this is repeating all the header and footer code and all this kind of stuff. So the question is, what remains on this particular implementation of it before I feel comfortable putting this live, other than it being less ugly? Yeah, I don't know what happened. It was clearly coming from the headphones before and then stopped. I don't know. Sucks. We'll deal with it later. I only have 25 minutes left. So I could do some carbon formatting here. I can do a whole bunch of CSS here. I think the last thing the first thing I want to do before we're done is just take a look at this. Where was it that we're doing? I think it's all straight around.php right now. Yeah, so this needs to be refactored and cleaned up, of course. But right now, I think the biggest thing is awesome. The biggest thing that I want to think about right now is this whole ordering thing. Because what I don't want to do is push it live and get a whole URL system set up and then have that URL system break. Again, if you listen to the podcast, there was an episode of the podcast where I talked about this. What's the best way to get an incrementing ID from an RSS feed? And basically what I was saying is, right now, this XML feed just shows you a list of all of the articles. It doesn't actually put like an episode ID in it. Oh my gosh. This audio thing is killing me. Some people can hear, some people can't. Why are computers hard? It's showing that there's audio coming through, so I'm going to say if somebody can't hear anything, gosh darn it. I'll try one more time in the headphones. One more time. I'm not mad at you, I'm just frustrated that we're not coding, but instead we're fighting with microphones and stuff. Okay, switching the mic to the built-in microphone, which should, here, go tap, 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 tap. Oh, see, that's not working. Tap, tap, tap. That should be really loud right now. It's not. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, see, whatever is going on with this is not working, and sorry, everybody. It's going to be echoey, and we're just going to deal with it. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what to do. Next time, maybe I'll get Assert Chris. He's my Twitch guru, so maybe he'll be able to help me out next time. Okay. I typed that, I could have just said that. Cool. All right, well, I guess you maybe possibly couldn't have heard it. Okay, so what do we want to do? I wanted to do a little bit of thinking on this aspect right here. So what it does right now is it grabs all the sortables, the articles from that XML feed, it reverse sorts them by date, and then it gets them, it's a 0 index, and I want it to be 1 index, which is why we got our ID -1. It's ugly, but, it's working. And so I think the main thing that I'm expecting to happen right now is I'm worried about what happens if the order of the things happens, or if I delete one or whatever. But I don't plan to do that. And I said this in the podcast, but unless I'm explicitly building something in here that caches the order as it comes through the first time, so it caches that, like, the one with this particular MP3 enclosure is associated with, episode 7, and then later if that enclosure one gets deleted, it's still permanently linked to episode 7. That is weird because it requires like some magic. It's going to require database access, and I just don't think I'm going to deal with it. So right now, my plan is just to keep it like it is. So if you end up deleting one of your feeds, one of your articles from your feed, all the ones after that article or that episode are going to get reordered, and I don't really know how to get around that. So I'm going to write some tests for some various circumstances. I haven't looked into what testing this VineLab thing looks like, so I need to actually learn how to do that. So I'm sorry, Virger, I don't know why you can't hear, but I'll put it up on YouTube later, and hopefully you'll be able to hear at least a little bit. So, okay. So this needs refactoring. This needs cleaning up. I want to extract some things. This feels a little janky with this ID -1 thing, but it works. So let's look at what was the other thing that we were looking at. I think it was the. Where was it? It was the episode. Okay, so yeah, so we'll do view inheritance here. Oh, there's a little bit of magic in here because it's the episode counts minus key. So I'll probably end up doing something that makes it so that we're not doing all of this like interpolation of like the count minus the index or the index plus 1 because of the zero indexing, all kind of stuff. But all those are just refactors. Like none of those things that should keep me from doing it. I think that, yeah, it would. So for me, the database thing doesn't matter. I'm glad you asked that question. The database thing doesn't matter for me. I can set up a MySQL, whatever I want. This is on Forge, so I have access to everything. My dream would be for this to be a yeah, I can't turn it any louder. My dream would be for this to be a open source package that other people could use. And one more microphone I can try. Be prepared, it may be about to get really loud. I have one more thing that I can use. So my dream would be for this to be set up such that a person who doesn't even know PHP or Laravel particularly well could come along and set up a Forge and DigitalOcean account, or they could set up what's something else, like a Fort Rabbit or something like that. Booyah! We win, finally. Okay. I want it fully driven from the RSS feed if at all possible. Wow, that really worked. Go team. So I want the setup to be minimally painful. I don't want them to have to, be copying environment keys from their MySQL admin unless we have to. And so right now, I don't think that provides enough benefit for it. So I'm just going to keep it as it is right now. So, okay, so we're iterating over the list of them. We're passing them in. We're passing the podcast information, which is interesting because I don't think we're actually using that anywhere. Oh, yeah, because I haven't actually updated this to read that podcast information. So we could probably do something like podcast title, although I should probably just figure out what podcast has available to it. Oh, there you go. Oh, I refreshed the chat instead of refreshing the thing I wanted to refresh. What? Oh, please tell me. Is it an array? Okay, sorry, I'm not supposed to be using the mouse. Vim people, stop judging me. Null. Okay, I thought we were getting feed info. Let's see what we're getting from feed info here. Okay. Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong one. Title. Yeah, so feed info. Do they not make feed info available? I'm gonna have to dig through their code to figure out what they expose. That's the error page right there. It's perfect. What are you doing? I don't have time to explain fully what I'm doing, but I'm building a thing. All right, so let's pull up feed.php. Oh, I can't because I don't have Control P hooked up. Control P, which is my file navigation plugin, ignores the vendor directory. So
what is this? VineLab, I think. RSS, source, VineLab, RSS, PSR0. Info is a protected array, but how can I get it? Set info, yes. Set articles. I don't like setters. You're making me scared here. This unfocused channel. Add article. Info. Okay. Thank you, Lul. All right, so it's returning an array, not an object, which we said was okay last time because we realized that um, um, because it's not a structured piece of data. Every podcast could be returning different information. So right now we use array access. I probably want to just convert it to just like a standard class object or something so I can at least use the arrow operator. So title, description, what else are we getting back from this? I guess we could do that up here too, but this is all going to be extracted eventually anyway, so I'm not going to bother with it right now. Does it have the image? No, language, generator, image. It does have an image with the URL. Although I don't, well, you know what? Let's just do that. Just why not? So this is going to be podcast, image, URL maybe? Port for banding and rip. Banding and rip. I have no idea what that means. It goes well. Thank you for asking. Dev setup. MacBook Pro, Retina, external monitor is a Dell something McSomething, and then this one over here is an Apple Cinema display, which I will eventually get rid of and replace with the Dell. All right, so we're going to need to do some styles on these beasts. Right now, we're just going to do a max width of 50%. Okay, so more and more of these things are pulling. Oh, do we end up getting? I just need to get like a definition of what I'm going to get back from this thing. So let's see what else we have access to. Link. Okay, so we can replace link with link. Oh, okay. DI double quotes I. Okay, podcast link. What else do we want to put in here? What else is actually on this page? Author. You got to be able to customize your footer. So yeah, so the pitch here is basically I want it to be so that everything that's unique per site, CSS files, specific aspects of the layout, copyright information, anything that's not pulled from the RSS feed, and the RSS feed discuss URL, any of those things that aren't pulled directly from the RSS feed are extremely easy to customize, either in a template file or two, or in .env, so that somebody could spin one of these up with very, very, very minimal work. 15-inch, yep, MacBook Pro. So I feel like this thing right here, the less explicit Matt Stauffer 3 Minute Geek Show stuff that's in here, and the more it's pulling directly from the podcast, the better. So again, this stuff will all get extracted, and when I extract it, I'll put this in here. I'll use the podcast description here. This stuff you're basically going to have to figure out in your .env file. But it's actually, we're actually making pretty decent progress. So let's look at the show page. Same kind of thing there. Is there anything on the show page that we can? Yeah, same thing. Podcast podcast title, I think it was, and podcast link, and podcast, what was it? Image URL, maybe, I think it might have been. And then this stuff's all already automatic. So let's click on one of them. This should be /7. Yeah, that's not what it was. What did we do here? Podcast title, podcast image URL. No, why is that not working? Oh, feed info. This is when I just need to actually do the work to do the view partials and extract the CSS. This is getting to the point where it's now wasteful. Parse it later. Yeah, that's okay. So basically, it's here. So I'm not going to do discuss right now. I'm actually probably just gonna do a little bit of tweaking so it's just not hideous. Like I'll probably do this and add a couple line breaks, and then I'll probably publish it, to be honest. And then I will work on cleaning things up, extracting partials, refactoring the backend code, and starting to refactor out the Matt Stauffer and 3-Minute Geek Show specific pieces later. So it's going to get a little boring from here, because I think my main goal is here is just going to be extract some pieces. So well, okay, I won't extract. I will at least format it, right? So again, one of the things I talked about is probably wanting to create like my own manual episode class that I can use, and so it'll handle things like converting the pub dates. But for right now, we're just going to do carbon. What was it? Make or parse format, and then oh gosh, I have a format that I really like for plain text, and I always forget what it is. It's basically like January 5th, 1927. So that's going to be F. I was going to say J. So it's like FJY maybe. And then I want to do like a nice human readable date. I'll do military for now though, I think. So like HIS. No, just HI maybe. Caron. Thank you. Which one are we on? Which page are we on right now? February 3rd, 2013, 16. All right, feels good. So again, I'll extract that out later, but we're just gonna yank that and then go to the index and find the pub date. I'm using the mouse. You're all judging me. I'm learning. Okay, that's pretty. Where if not discuss, date. All right. All right, so let's do a tiny little bit of CSS. So this is how I end up doing a lot of the stuff where I'm just writing in the browser. I don't even worry about where it's going to go because I usually don't know in the end. Vim is a really high cost of learning at the benefit of becoming much better. Jeffrey Way did a series of tutorials on Laracast recently where he had his, I haven't read all or seen all of them, but there's one he did that I loved, which is basically a graphic where there's a line going up. And Sublime, your learning curve is pretty, not too sharp, like 45 degrees, but then it plateaus. With Vim, it's a sharper learning curve, so you go much slower, but you can get much better. If you look at a Vim master, they're amazing, but it's a hefty learning cost for sure. Okay, so let's just do this. So basically, this is how I do when I'm hacking stuff out. I'm just like trying to figure out what I want. I don't need to worry about exactly where it's going to end up. And this is true for PHP. This is true for HTML. This is true for CSS and JavaScript because I'll probably change it several times just right now. So I'm not going to worry about getting it in exactly the right place or getting it in the right step of the build system because it might move 4 times between now and then. So I'm just going to do something like this. So like let's just try a max width of 30 ems and text align left and font size 2 ems or something like that, and just kind of see where that takes us. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then I got some other Mac Vim window that it keeps tabbing me to instead of the one that I want to be in. And then let's give it like a, what is going on here? Struggling with my indentation here. All right, so that's like a really basic link of list of episodes, and we can say something like, okay, so I've got a list of the episodes, and then we're going to grab the feed links that I already have up there, which I just stole from the briefs.fm source. So let's just grab, ooh, that is janky. Just grab this thing right here. Actually, I'll grab this whole thing out of here. Switching using MacVim is definitely a helpful first step. Okay, so I want this one up here, I think. Because as you can see, I'm switching in between using mouse and keyboard. You can see I'm a lot slower than I am in my normal screencast with Sublime Text, but the fact that I can, when I'm getting frustrated with how slow I am in doing a particular thing in Vim, that I can switch over the mouse just really quickly is really helpful for me, being able to switch better. All right, subscribe in iTunes, subscribe in Overcast, subscribe in Podcast.app. I guess I'll do one last one, which is view in briefs.fm. They may end up adding some community portal related things or whatever. Okay, view in briefs.fm. Episodes, here's our episodes, descending order. Here's the what is this thing? And then when you click on an individual episode, it's going to take you to the episode page. So let's do a little bit of cleanup on that page. We'll go to the show page, and what kind of cleanup are we going to do in this page? Gosh, there's so much CSS work that needs to be done, but I'm containing myself from this so I can just launch something before my 1 o'clock meeting. Okay, so episode title, episode description, episode date, episode player, and I guess we can just do like a all episodes link or something like that. Gosh, this is, even though this is how I hack things out, the code that I'm writing right now is so bad right now. So as you can see, this is not how it's going to be structured in the end. I'm just toying around with things to say like, what is the minimum viable ugly that I'm willing to put out? So that right now is my minimum viable ugly, and then almost always I would do, just check it out on an iPhone 6 Plus and say, holy crap, this is why we do real CSS styles, because that's way, way, way too big. And the moment it's way too big, then you end up having to do media queries. And then once you're doing media queries, you're like, why are you doing all this crap in here right now? So let's just do one quick media query, and then I'm going to launch it. Media, only source, and min width, 500 pixels or whatever. And then episodes list. This whole indentation thing is killing me. 2Ms, and we'll keep this one to like 1.25 or something like that. Shame is showing this code. You're letting everyone know how we. I'm a real boy too. Episodes title. Font size 4M, so that we can now take the mobile first version down to like 2Ms or something like that. Oh, but that's not 2Ms. Did I not save? Episodes title in a, it's under 500. What did I do wrong? Save, index page, refresh, episodes. Oh, I think I wanted media only screen, not media only source. That would explain why it's not working. Yeah, media only screen is what I wanted. Okay. So there's oh, look, double closing braces. That could do it. There we go. Okay, cool. So this looks fine enough on the phone. It's not great, but whatever. And then we come out to the fuller width, and it's hideous. Everybody knows it's hideous, right? I did this in friggin' Microsoft Paint style kind of thing, but whatever, it's there. Oh, you know what? This is a little too small in this version. So let's just do a little bit of work on what is this. That's fantastic. All right, so what, did I do this wrong? Okay, once again, let's figure out what's going on here. What is this? Oh, because that's a paragraph, and we can't do a paragraph with an H2 in it. So we do this. There we go, much better. And let's go back to that 1.25 ems I had. Okay, good enough. Ugly, but it has the basic information here. And now I can improve it later, but I can now say someone go to 3minutegeekshow.com/7 and I can link to it. So this is so embarrassingly bad. But that's okay. So what's this going to be? Basic date and CSS formatting. I don't like to merge code outside of pull requests, so we go to 3-Minute Geek Show. We do a new pull request for this. Add rudimentary parsing do a quick read over everything, make sure it all looks good. Of course, it looks really bad, but like, there's no dine dumps in there that we weren't expecting or anything like that. Yep, everything looks good. Merge it in. Delete the branch. I'm going to SSH in and update the .env, but I don't know if there's anything that's going to show, so I'm going to take this off the screen real quick. 3-Minute Geek Show. There's probably like an internal IP address that I don't want to show or something like that. Yeah, if that were a real pull request, I would have given descriptions of what I'm doing, and I also would have put a screenshot in there. What if you generate a hash based on the name instead of doing the -1 thing? That's a really fantastic question. Why don't you go take a listen to it's pushing right now, so it's broken. This one. What's the best way to get an incrementing ID from an RSS feed? Which will be 3minutegeekshow.com/6, because I talked about it there, and I'm very interested in figuring out like what the solution would be there. All right, so let's go to our env file. Copy.env.example.env. I know you all can't see this, so I'm just going to go as fast as I can. And then let's go to the briefs URL, paste it in for the RSS URL field. Try again because it's not working. All right, let's try going here again. Look at that, 3minutegeekshow.com. Whoa, those fonts are bigger than I expected them to be. I'm not sure why. I don't know, but yeah. Oh, it's because I have this on a really minimal 1080p resolution. So, so there you go. It's good. So yeah, here's your answer, Josh Watka. That one. So I'm 1 minute late for our company stand-up. So I'll be back on later doing some refactorings on this. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Total pleasure having you. Once again, I forgot that I have a webcam. So we need to have like a how many times does Matt pick his nose because he forgets he's on the webcam count for each of these streams. So all right, I gotta run. Thank you everybody. Talk to y'all later.